Welcome back to my channel, my dear elegant ladies. Today, ladies, I am going to talk to you about those things that elegant ladies should be wearing, but they don't. And the simple reason for this is, ladies, if we take a look into reality, into the modern world today, then there's a lot of etiquette rules that are with us from the past, but actually the modern world and the modern society are breaking them more and more. The reality doesn't look like that. It's not really how elegant ladies behave and dress. So let me start immediately with number one. Elegant ladies should definitely be wearing Spanx if they are on the larger side, but we actually noticed that a lot of elegant ladies, they skip the Spanx. In my elite finishing school, I do tell my students that Spanx is so important. If you have something that needs to be tucked in, use Spanx, tuck it in. Because otherwise, how are you going to achieve that elegant silhouette if everything is a little bit all over the place, right? It makes total logical sense. The only problem with Spanx is that it's ridiculously uncomfortable. I have a little bit of Spanx as well. I'm not going to lie. There are sometimes moments where I feel incredibly bloated and I need to tuck my stomach in, right? Especially if I'm gonna go out at night. But oh my God, to live through a whole night wearing those horrible Spanx, who likes it? It can also sometimes ruin the whole experience. So it happens that, you know what, I'll just take one for the team. I'll just suck in my stomach the entire night rather than having to wear those horrible Spanx. So that's kind of the first example. What I mean, elegant ladies should be doing this, but if we really look into reality, a lot of people break the rules. Now going to number two, and I did get a remark once when I went to finishing school about this. So this is the rule, ladies. If a lady, an elegant lady, should never have bare legs. She should always be wearing hosiery. So for instance, if you are going to have bare legs, you have to wear nude hosiery. Now, one thing is for sure that when it comes to business etiquette, then yes, for business, you have to do it because business is business, it's corporate environment. There are rules that should be followed there because of certain dress code. But in our everyday life, when we go out at night and so on, should we really be wearing those nude stockings, especially if it's warm outside? Now in our modern world, ladies, most women, they would only wear nude hosiery if it's cold, if it's too cold not to wear bare legs. But majority of women, unless they're, let's say, over 60 years old, will not wear hosiery because bare legs is nice, it's beautiful. It's a bit too strict to wear hosiery in my personal opinion. So what I meant with finishing school is that we actually had in our dress code at finishing school that we could never wear bare legs. We always had to wear hosiery, and let me tell you, we were talking about July month and it was 35 degrees in Switzerland during this time. So I remember I came to class once and I didn't have any hosiery and I was wearing a dress. So the teacher told me off, and I remember clearly because she told me, no naked bottoms on your seat. That is not hygienical and it's not pleasant for the other students. Okay, I get it. I understand. Makes logical sense. But, you know, ultimately, majority of ladies break this rule, and it's just the kind of society we're in today. Maybe it's a little bit different from culture to culture, but in the culture where I'm from, in Europe, and I think even the US, that's usually the standard practice. People are bare-legged. Let's move on to number three, and we are going to talk a lot about jewelry in today's video. There is this really common etiquette rule that you should only wear diamonds in the evening. But if you really look into high society women, you will actually see that nobody's really following that rule. If you have a beautiful diamond bracelet, then you are not only going to wear it at night, you will also wear it sometimes during daytime or other occasions. It's not really that strict. And I don't necessarily think that if you're wearing diamonds, before 6 p.m., you're necessarily somebody who is dressed inappropriately. Now, of course, I would say coming all blinged up for breakfast or lunch or so on might not necessarily say that you have the best taste, in my opinion, because it's maybe a little bit too much for that time of the day. But I think definitely having diamonds in general doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean that you are not a lady. In our modern world, elegant ladies do amend the rules. And if we continue to number 4 and stay on the jewelry path, because this one actually goes a little bit hand in hand with the previous one, there is this saying that for daytime, elegant ladies should be wearing pearls, and in the evening, they can wear their diamonds. So this is again where, reality doesn't look like this today. The women of today who are perhaps under the age of 50 tend not to wear pearls at all. Of course, you can wear, and you have some women who do wear pearls, and that works absolutely fine on them. But it's very, very hard in today's world to pull off pearls without looking old and old-fashioned. I have pearls and I just never end up wearing them. I feel extremely old-fashioned when I wear them, which is a shame because I really like the appearance of pearls, but I just cannot get myself down to wear it. Maybe it will change in the future, but I know for sure that that's maybe also another reason to why people break the diamond rule. Maybe pearls will get back into fashion, but after all, it is such a classic and timeless piece. However, I know that right now is not really the high time for pearls, and people are just not really wearing it right now. By the way, some of these things that I'm mentioning in today's video, I have definitely listed them in my free cheat sheet, How to Look Expensive on Any Budget. It's a free cheat sheet for those who want to save themselves both time and headache, and I have listed a lot of other information in that cheat sheet that I'm actually not mentioning in this video, so make sure you visit classycheatsheet.com to download your free cheat sheet. Ladies, we have arrived to number 5, and there is a saying that if it's cold, let's say it's after October, November month, and it's already cold where you live, then you should not be wearing sandals. You have to only wear high heels with closed toe. Open toe is for summer. And to some degree, I actually do agree with this because it makes sense. You are going to be very cold and you might feel a little bit awkward because if it's, let's say it's almost snowing where you live and you're arriving in a pair of sandals, open toes, not necessarily the appropriate footwear. And ladies, I'm just referring now to high heels because who would arrive in flat sandals in winter? But somehow with heels, we tend to think that it's more okay. I don't know why. Maybe because we go out at night and we dress up and I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that elegant ladies do cheat with this. I've seen it over and over again, and this I'm really referring to at night. I haven't really seen many people cheat with this during the day because during the day would definitely look much more awkward, but at night, because you are kind of showing maybe a little bit more skin and having more of a nicer dress, you can get away by wearing a sandal. This is definitely something that I tend not to do. If I'm doing it, it's really an exception, and maybe I didn't have the right shoes to match that particular outfit, who knows, but it's something I definitely avoid. But I just want to put it out there that this does happen, and if you have to break the rules sometimes, you have to break the rule. It's not the end of the world. The point of elegant transformation is that you don't start adopting bad habits and start going down into a negative spiral that is not going to serve you. Number 6, and this is very much part of our modern society. So elegant ladies shouldn't be wearing sneakers at all. It's kind of this impression. I don't know why people have this vision that elegant ladies have to be extremely rigid and in a certain way, and God forbid that they would wear a pair of sneakers. I mean, I really think that that's a little bit exaggerated. I am here teaching you elegance. I am all about elegance. But when elegance is turning into extremism, that's when I start wondering, why do people have to go to such dramatic extents? This is the case, ladies. Again, in our modern society today, it is a sneaker society. I'm not saying that that's my favorite society, and I'm not really pro all that, because I think people have definitely become way too casual than we should necessarily be. But on the other hand, sneakers serves a purpose, and everybody deserves to be comfortable with their feet, especially if you have to walk long distances. Who wants to go sightseeing all day in a pair of uncomfortable, I don't know, pointy ballerina shoes, you know? You will end up bleeding from the blisters on your feet. I mean, that's so unfair, right? It's really unfair being a woman then, because men, they can walk around in sneakers all day long and nobody's judging them. But of course, I do think that there are sneakers and then there are sneakers. There are sneakers that are much more dressed up than others. For instance, I wouldn't say that, oh yes, elegant ladies, they definitely run around town wearing Nikes all day long. No, we don't want to go that low as wearing Nikes, you know? We want to maybe have a nice pair of leather, clean sneaker that is kind of a hybrid between a sneaker and a leather shoe. I love my Louis Vuitton leather sneakers as a result. I walk and use them a lot. I use them definitely for sightseeing, so no blisters, thank God. And what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to wear sneakers if you style them properly, if maybe the rest of your outfit is much more dressed up rather than wearing a massive, you know, Balenciaga hoodie and I don't know, some sweatpants or whatever people wear these days. But it's okay to be comfortable. Just make sure the rest of you is somehow elevated and elegant and just chic. Just makes you look not too scruffy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Number 7, there is also this dress rule that an elegant lady, she doesn't remove her hat at the dinner table. So this is a very old-fashioned rule, because back in the days, women used to wear very sophisticated hats, you know, hats that are more of a design purpose rather than to keep their head warm. But, you know, some people misunderstand that rule and think that, okay, well, maybe I should be wearing my Maison Michel outdoor hat when I'm sitting, you know, having dinner inside a restaurant just because I came with that hat and it was my accessory with my outerwear. No, ladies, okay, so they should be, let's say, if we listen to that rule, they should be wearing their hat at the dinner table. But actually, women take off their hats today because the hats that we are wearing, they're more, like I said, to match our outerwear. Perhaps even the hat that we would use on the beach, we wouldn't necessarily sit down and have food with it. Well, maybe some do actually, but I think it's a common sense thing to remove your hat, especially if it's on the larger side when you're sitting and eating. Now, definitely if you have, like, let's say more of a kind of fascinator type of hat, then yes, you would keep it on, you wouldn't take it off. But I'm certainly not going to eat with my Maison Michel hat at any point. That hat is made to take off when I'm eating food. Okay, one more. No, okay, 2 more or 3. Number 8, the watch. So there's also this rule that an elegant lady should not be wearing her watch at night because it's rude to kind of be watching your time, or she should be wearing only her jewelry, like bracelets and things. But again, elegant ladies don't follow this rule majority of the times. A lot of women are wearing their watches at nighttime, and it's not necessarily because they lack skills and manners. It's really because watches have become more of a fashion accessory today and more also of a statement piece than what it was back in the days. Back in the days, it was truly to check your time. So of course, maybe an elegant lady wouldn't be wearing a watch at all. But today, things have changed. Life has evolved, there are new trends and new ways of living life. So you will be seeing women wearing watches, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The only time I would say do not wear a watch, however, is if you're going to a very dressed up event and you're, let's say, wearing a long dress, a gown, type of cocktail party attire, then yes, your watch, unless it's very, very kind of like jewelry designed watches, those are an exception. I'm talking now about regular watches. So number 9, and let's talk about the cliche that we keep talking about over and over again. An elegant lady should never be showing any form of cleavage. Or should she? Okay, now you're like, okay, but Anna is now talking against herself. Well, okay, first things first, I still stick to my guns. I do believe that an elegant lady should not be showing any cleavage because there's just too much cleavage in this world today. I'm sorry, but wherever we look, there's flesh, body parts, you know. I can't take any more body parts, you know, just give me a break, cover up. No, but this is the thing, ladies. There is an exception that I do want to talk about. Number one, you can actually show a little bit of cleavage. It's fine. You don't have to be covered up to here to be an elegant lady. You can definitely show a little bit of cleavage in an elegant way. What we don't want to see is like the kind of the sagging moment where we feel like we're just staring into a person's bosom rather than into the person's eyes. Ultimately, we want to see the person. We don't want to see flesh. You know, that's the whole purpose of this kind of cliche mantra. But there is an exception also, and there are certain women who are extremely conservative as their natural element, and they're almost a little bit too proper, kind of too strict, too tense, if I can describe this correctly. And somehow those women would actually benefit from showing a little bit of cleavage. Ladies, I teach about balance here because that is the winning formula. We don't like too much of anything. If you go too much into the world of being conservative, then okay, it can definitely work. So I'm not saying it's bad, but what I'm saying is that it can oftentimes benefit you to just add a little bit of the opposite to your existing ensemble to just balance things up a bit. Now, what happens then is that opportunities might arise for you. You might discover new energy in yourself that you didn't think you had. You might even transform yourself to somebody that you should become or you would benefit of becoming. So there are benefits to when somebody should be spicing themselves up a notch and not just be little Miss Proper and God forbid if she shows a tiny bit of skin, you know. It's okay, it's fine to show a little bit of skin if it's done with good taste, not too much, and not having to put everything on display here. That's not what we want. Number 10, ladies, and we have reached the last point. And the last point is elegant ladies should be dressed for their age. But actually, if you look in today's society, you will really see that people actually oftentimes dress the opposite for their age, and it's absolutely fine. So a common thing that I've noticed is that a lot of the times, younger people, they like to dress themselves a little bit older, maybe because they want to be taken more seriously. And a lot of the times, older people, maybe older women, like to dress themselves a little bit more younger so that they don't have to reveal their age too much. And I really think that in these situations, it's absolutely fine as long as you make it work for yourself. Again, when it really doesn't work is when it's done in bad taste. When, for instance, older women are running around with like mini dresses, like mini bodycon dresses, you know, the Herb Leger type of dresses, and they're, I don't know, they really look like old teenagers. And that just looks a bit too much, you know. Or if you have, let's say, a really young girl who, I don't know, looks like a grandma, that's also not really, you know, in benefit for her. So it's really about your own balance, what works for you and your goals and your preference and so on. The point that I'm trying to make, that it's fine. And if you need to balance something out for some reason, then that is your choice and you have the right to that choice. So you shouldn't be listening to those things. But again, just do everything with good taste and don't go all in, you know, that's all I'm trying to say. Ladies, don't forget to get your free cheat sheet at classycheatsheet.com. And of course, I hope you have watched my best performing video on this channel, 10 things elegant ladies never wear. If you still haven't heard me talk about those yoga pants, then now is the time. Ladies, I will see you in that video.